Mazi Osita died mysteriously and his children pointed accusing fingers at their mother. They walked in on her, forcing a strange drink down their father's throat, and when they checked, their father was already dead. Once upon a time, there lived a woman named Ekene. Ekene had two grown-up children and was well known around the village for her kindness and wisdom. However, her life took a tragic turn when her husband mysteriously died one hot afternoon. No one knew exactly what happened, but Ekene's two children believed that their mother was responsible for the death of their father. What had happened was that their late father, Mazi Osita, a few years before he died, told his son Obi that if anything ever happened to him, that Obi should hold Ekene responsible. Shocked to hear this from his father, Obi pressed on to know why his father made such a statement about his mother, but Mazi Osita never disclosed his reason. Up until his death, no one knew why Mazi Osita was convinced that his wife Ekene was going to kill him. A few years later, Mazi Osita died mysteriously and his children pointed accusing fingers at their mother. They walked in on her, forcing a strange drink down their father's throat, and when they checked, their father was already dead. "You killed him," they screamed at her as tears poured down their eyes. Unwilling to listen to whatever Ekene had to say, they reported the issue to the king, who ostracized Ekene from the village, sending her into the forest to live. Ekene lived alone in the forest as her children turned their backs on her. Everyone abandoned her as they all believed that she had a hand in her husband's death. Ekene lived a very lonely life with no friends or family around. She was so fearless as she lived a very comfortable life in the forest. One day, Ekene had a very strange feeling that something terrible was about to happen to her daughter. Filled with worry, she defied the king's orders and entered the village in search of her daughter. The villagers were all shocked to see her inside the village, as they knew that she was ostracized by the king and warned never to come into the village. Ekene was willing to risk her life to warn her daughter of the impending danger. However, when she got to her daughter's house, her daughter Mmesoma was so agitated and unwilling to listen to what her mother had to say. She walked her mother out of her house, saying that she never wanted to see her again in her life. Ekene, regardless of how her daughter felt, screamed at the top of her voice, saying that her daughter Mmesoma should avoid going to her shop in the next 5 days as her life was in a grave danger. Once Ekene delivered her message to her daughter, she set out on her way back to the forest. In the days that followed, Mmesoma, although furious at her mother, adhered to her mother's warning and kept away from her shop in the market. Not long afterwards, news reached her that her market shop collapsed mysteriously. Mmesoma was shocked to hear this and was so grateful to her mother for the warning. She spoke to her brother Obi, telling him all that had happened and how their mother saved her from dying. But Obi was still filled with rage. He warned his sister Mmesoma never to entertain their wicked mother again, because if she does, he would denounce her as his sister. Obi was his father's favorite, and the death of his father hit him so hard that he swore never to forgive his mother for killing his father. One night, Mmesoma was trying to sleep but was so restless. She woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't stop thinking about her dear mother. Something kept prompting her to go check on her mother. So the next morning, she journeyed out of the village to the forest in search of her mother. She walked for a while and arrived at a small hut, which she guessed was that of her mother. Mesoma walked into the hut and met her mother extremely sick. Ekene, although weak, smiled at her daughter, and through labored breaths, she confessed, "My child, I never harmed your father. There's a dark secret and you must listen carefully to understand." As Mesoma listened, she discovered that her father, Mazi Osita, committed suicide and died. He drank a poisonous substance, and by the time Ekene walked in on him, the poison had already begun to take effect. The substance they saw their mother giving to their father on the day that he died was an anti-poison, which did not work because the poison their father took had already begun to take effect before the anti-poison was administered. Ekene never told the villagers that her husband committed suicide because in their village, anybody who commits suicide was not buried in the village but thrown into the evil forest. The villagers never paid any form of respect to the body of a person who died in such a way. Even the person's family was ostracized from the village as the villagers viewed them as cursed. Ekene bore the burden of this secret alone to protect her children from the harsh consequences that would have followed. Mesoma, now enlightened with the truth, was filled with regret because of how she treated her mother all these years. As they were talking, they heard a loud bang on the door. Some angry villagers had surrounded her mother's hut, requesting that Ekene be killed for defiling the king's order by entering their village after being ostracized by the king. Mesoma hurriedly rushed out to meet the villagers and was shocked to see her brother leading the angry crowd. Her brother was so furious to see his sister in their mother's hut as he threatened to disassociate himself from Mesoma for going against his wishes to side with their evil and wicked mother. Mesoma, knowing that the villagers would bring harm to her mother if she withheld the truth, spoke out, telling the angry villagers that her mother did not kill her father as he committed suicide. Her brother Obi then questioned their mother, asking why their father told them years ago that if anything happened to him, that they should hold their mother responsible, and Ekene, although weak, revealed to her son Obi that his father had a gambling addiction and was owing a very dangerous man some money. He told her to sell off the land that belonged to her late father so that he could pay the dangerous man back his money, but Ekene refused, saying that the land did not belong to her but her family. This caused a lot of problems for Ekene and her husband, who began to despise his wife, telling whoever cared to listen that if he ever dies, Ekene should be held responsible. When Obi heard this, he broke down in tears as he regretted all his actions towards his poor mother. The angry villagers too were now filled with compassion as they saw that Ekene was indeed innocent. They approached the king of the village, who after careful deliberation decided to scrap the tradition that ostracized the innocent family members of a person who committed suicide in their village. That was how Ekene and her family reunited, and Ekene gradually regained her health. The lifting of the ostracism tradition marked a turning point in the mindset of the villagers, fostering a more compassionate and understanding community. Ekene, Mesoma and Obi worked together to repay his debt, and the village rallied behind them, realizing that unity and support We are crucial in overcoming challenges. The lesson to be learned from this story is that judging someone without knowing the full story can lead to grave consequences. The story also encourages us to approach situations with an open heart, to seek the truth, and to recognize that forgiveness and understanding can lead to healing and reconciliation. I hope you enjoyed the story. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.